guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be telling a couple of little stories about art commissions and also giving you guys some tips on how to get the best experience out of commissioning someone for art. So for some reason I seem to have really bad luck when it comes to commissioning people for art, and I don't know if it's just because of the amount I've actually commissioned people that the percentage just makes the numbers go up, but unfortunately I've had many experiences with artists where I haven't received my product, or it's taken like 6 months to get one headshot, or artists just doing things that artists generally shouldn't do. The biggest story I'm going to tell you guys today is about a commission experience I had last year and also going into this year. I'm not going to be telling you the name of the artist because, you know, privacy and that kind of stuff, and it wasn't the worst thing ever. It doesn't deserve like a beware or anything. It was just an uncomfortable experience. So I commissioned this artist in late June 2019, so that was just over a year ago, and I commissioned them for a traditional headshot or bust piece of one of my characters. I paid for it, and a couple days passed and it was really good. They sent me the sketch, and then they sent me, it was lined, and they showed me they had the right markers and stuff, and I paid for everything, and then I didn't really hear anything for a while. I messaged them for an update and they're like, yeah, it's still happening. In mid-August, the commission was done. They showed me a photo of it completed and I was pretty happy with it. It was a nice piece of art. And that wasn't too bad. That was like, what, a month and a half or so, which is not too bad for a piece of traditional art. And then they said they would ship it. The piece didn't get shipped until the end of October. I paid for this in June and it was finished in August, and it took them 2 months to even ship the badge. And I was like, oh well, you know, at least it's finally on its way, that's great. The art was coming from America and I'm in Australia, so I knew it would take a while, so I wasn't really in a rush or anything. But a couple weeks passed and they messaged me and said, hey, I'm really sorry, but I accidentally sent you the wrong art. They had messed up my art and someone else's, and they'd sent my badge to someone else, and I was getting some random person's badge. So I was like, well, okay, that's annoying. Like, what am I gonna do with this other person's badge when it gets here? And they said, oh, just send it back to me. And I was like, do I have to pay to send it back? And they're like, no, you should be able to send it for free because it was wrongly delivered or whatever. I took it back to the post office after it finally arrived, and I couldn't send it back for free because it was addressed to me. So I had to pay to send this envelope back to America, and oh my god, it was just a huge thing. My badge had ended up in someone in Canada, which is, you know, a lot closer to America than Australia is, and somehow it took longer for my badge to get back to the person than their badge took to get to them from Australia. I don't know what happened there. I reckon they didn't send the art when they said they did. Eventually my art got back to them from the person in Canada. I asked them for a proof photo to see if they actually had it. They ignored me. Then they said, oh yeah, I'm shipping it back out today. And I was like, yo, please send me a proof photo that you actually have it, because it's been like 6 months at this point. They were alright, and they did send me a proof photo, and they did actually send it, and I eventually received it at the beginning of this year. So, just to recap, I paid them in June. I eventually received my art in the first week of January. I was like, oh my gosh, so that's just a little story about one of the weird experiences I've gone through. There are so many others. I don't know if you guys want to even hear them, so I'm not going to go super into detail. But I've had experiences where art has just never shown up. Artists have just disappeared, and disappeared to the point where I've filed a chargeback on PayPal, and it's just gone through with no worries because they haven't even responded on their end to say, hey, I want to keep my money. So here is a couple of tips for you if you stuck around this long, to ensure that you have the best probability of actually having a good commission experience. Number 1, pay through PayPal goods and services. I have a whole video on that up here or up here somewhere. Go click on it if you haven't seen it, about why you should pay through goods and services, how it protects you, all that crap. So go watch that if you don't know what I'm talking about. Another tip is, before you commission the artist, check their reviews. If they don't have a public page, ask them if they could direct you to somewhere that someone might have written a review. No artist should be offended by this, because if they have nothing to hide, then they will be happy to show you reviews. This is really important to see what other people have experienced with this artist, and of course it's not 100% guaranteed that nothing will go wrong, but you can get a general idea of whether this person is reliable to work with. Another tip is to ask the artist what their estimated turnaround time might be. Now I know some artists don't like to work within deadlines, but I find it pretty fair that when I give money to someone that they can tell me a rough amount of time for how long it might take for me to get my product. And it's fine if they come up front and say, hey, it's gonna be 6 months, or hey, it's gonna be longer than that. But if they give you an estimated time and then it's, you know, double that amount of time or whatever, then you can at least have something that you can come back to, a screenshot, whatever, that says, hey, you originally said that this was gonna be done in this amount of time, what's going on? Like, I've had artists who have said that, oh yeah, it'll be done within a week. And I'm like, cool, that's great, awesome, can't wait. 2 weeks go by, a month goes by, 3 months go by, and nothing. So yeah, if you just want to check and see what your estimated time might be, just send the artist a message and just ask what their estimated turnaround time is. One last little piece of advice, and this one's a bit of a niche one, especially for new furries, but I'm gonna put it in here anyway. Don't give artists your budget. And I know some artists will probably work only within budgets, but I personally really don't like that. My first ever art commission experience was with an Australian artist who I'd met through like a furry group or something. I'd never commissioned anyone before. I had like one furry friend, and I messaged them. I was like, hey, I'm interested in commissioning you for a piece of art. What's your prices? And they said, oh, what's your budget? And I was like, oh, I don't know, like 30 bucks. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do a headshot for that. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. So I sent them 30 bucks for this headshot that, one, took a really long time, and two, I personally don't think I should have paid $30 for it. I'm not gonna, again, name the artist or show the piece or anything, but I personally don't think it was worth that much. And I later saw that they were in furry groups advertising their commissions for much cheaper than what I had paid. So by giving artists your budget, it gives you the disadvantage of them actually raising their prices to charge you more because you've said you're willing to pay more. And like I said, some artists might work this way where it's like, oh hey, here's what I've got, do whatever the hell you want with it. But generally, if you ask for a price list and they don't give you a price list, it's kind of a little bit dodgy, in my opinion. I know, some people might work differently, but that's just me. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, just some little tips and a few rambling stories about weird experiences I've had. Let me know if you like this kind of video. I'm always happy to talk about my furry experiences, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!